Hi, and welcome to Storytime with Mrs. Kelly. Today we have a book about L.M. Montgomery. She is the author that wrote Anne of Green Gables, which was one of my favorite books. Okay, page... Oh, that's page 2. No, that's page 1. Okay. Little Maud was born on Prince Edward Island in Canada. When she was very small, her mother passed away. Her father left her in the care of her grandparents and sailed off far away from the little island. Maud felt out of place at her grandparents' house. They were strict and grumpy, and it was almost impossible to get a smile out of them. But Maud loved to walk around the island picking berries and naming everything she saw. For her, even apple trees had names like Little Syrup, Gavin, or Spider. At home, books became Maud's very best friends, and she dreamed of becoming a writer one day. But her grandparents thought reading and writing was a waste of time, especially for a girl. So Maud started writing her own stories and poems in secret, smuggling candles into her room at night. She thought about the friends she'd found on her walks and imagined new worlds for them. When Maud was older, she became a teacher. It was not her favorite job, but it gave her time to write stories, and soon one was published in a magazine. Maud was then offered the chance to work at a newspaper. She was the only woman on the staff and wrote her first article under the pen name Cynthia. She loved every minute of her job. But not even 9 months had passed in her new post. When her grandfather passed away, Maud had to go back home and take care of her elderly grandmother. But there was no way Maud would give up writing. She accepted a job at a local post office so she could send her work to newspapers without anyone noticing. Before long, 30 of her stories were in the papers. One day, Maud found an old newspaper with an interesting story. It said, elderly couple applied to an orphan asylum for a boy. But by mistake, a girl is sent to them. That night, she dreamed of this little girl, who became the star of Maud's next story, Anne of Green Gables. Once it was published, everyone loved the little girl with her freckles and thick red braids. Anne was imaginative and brave, and though she got into scrapes, she was always loved. Through Anne's adventures, Maud rewrote her own childhood as she'd have liked it to be. And by telling Anne's story, Maud, the little girl who wasn't allowed to write, became the greatest author she'd always dreamt she could be. Oh, that's great. Okay, L.M. Montgomery is Lucy Maud, her name is L.M., born in 1874 and died in 1942. Oh, there is a picture of her. You see her? That's great. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will see you next week.